What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Arabesque, and thank you as always to Chafic. And the next track is a Germany and Japan only release, and it's Indio Boy. So Indio is a term that was used for the indigenous peoples of the Americas based on the idea that when they first found the Americas, meaning Europeans, they thought they were in India. Nevertheless, it's a term that has continued to be used to refer to the indigenous populations of the Americas up into the present, although, again, it depends on in what circles or what context you're referring to. But yes, on the surface of it, my only apparent guess would be that it might refer to a young indigenous person in the Americas. Nevertheless, I don't really have a sense of, where that might go, even if that is the case, so we'll just have to listen and see what it is. This is Arabesque, the track is Indio Boy, and this is a Japan and Germany only release and a single from 1981. Oh, that does sound like Andean.
Came from the mountains to our little town, and he never spoke a word, but he played every day in a lovely way, little tunes I had never heard. When he played his flute, his eyes seemed to be like mirrors of times gone by. I don't know if I saw what I should not see, but I looked into his heart. I looked right into his heart. He's an Indio boy, and his folks far away, they are praying. Indio boy, come home when you're a man. He's an Indio boy, and he longs for the girl who is waiting. Indio boy, come home as soon as you can. I found out one evening, only by chance, where he spent his lonely nights. Yeah, he slept in the church on the marble floor, and his flute lay by his side. As I woke him up and said, won't you come to my house where it's nice and warm? He said, please let me be, for I am not free, and I don't wanna break your heart. I don't wanna break your heart. He's an Indio boy, and his folks far away, they're praying. Indio boy, come home when you're a man. He's an Indio boy, and he longs for the girl who is waiting. Indio boy, come home as soon as you can. One morning I came to the place where he used to play his flute. He was gone, but a song that will never die seemed to linger on in the sky. He's an Indio boy, and his folks far away, they are praying. Indio boy, come home when you're a man. He's an Indio boy, and he longs for the girl who is waiting. Indio boy.
much enjoy the Andean sonics. It feels like we're up in the mountains, or perhaps a valley adjacent to the mountains in Bolivia or Peru or Ecuador. So I think that is basically the setting, and that he comes from a mountainous village where people still have traditional life ways of the Andean peoples, but that he's come down maybe to like a Spanish like mission town, or at least a Spanish settlement. And it sounds like his parents sent him down, or at least, knew he was leaving, and they're far away praying for him. And maybe there's a girl in his own village community that is waiting earnestly for his return, but that in the time being he's sleeping in the church. And it sounds like the narrator is maybe a woman who fancies him, or at least finds him compelling, but when she sort of reaches out and says, hey, you can come back to my home and it's warm and maybe we could have a connection, he's saying, no, I can't do that because I don't want to break your heart. And it sounds like he knows he's going to return, but when he does return to his village, he will no longer be a boy, he'll be a man, which of course you could take that some different ways. But yeah, it sounds like we're maybe in formerly Incan, which the Spanish conquering of the Inca Empire took place over a long period of time and happened in some different places. So I feel like this could be itself a historical throwback. Now it could be in like more modern times, meaning late 20th century, but again in a remote area where maybe there are villages which, despite being influenced by the Spanish at that point, are still basically living distinct from the bigger cities and the settlements, which have more fully assimilated to or embraced like the Spanish culture that was brought to the Americas. But yeah, it sounds like there's a personal narrative going on, and the Indio boy's life and maybe even sympathies are spread between his village up in the mountains and this like hamlet, this Spanish influenced hamlet like in a valley maybe adjacent to that. But yeah, a really interesting tune sonically, and I like especially that flute, which very much speaks to like Andean music, or at least like popular conceptions of Andean music. And that strummed guitar has a bit of a Spanish feel to it, so it really like sets the stage. And their vocals are great. I especially like when they hit that big rising line near the end of the chorus. And yeah, just a really compelling tune, and one that it's very far away from their disco tunes. It's far away from their like rock tracks. It's far away from some of the ballads I've heard them do. So in the larger context of Arabesque work, it feels a bit more unique, a bit more distinct from the rest, which is to say I enjoy a lot of what I've heard from them, going down some different avenues and genres, but this one sort of stands out sonically, in addition to me, as a historian who my degrees, my BA, but even more so my MA, related to early colonial interactions between Europeans and indigenous Americans, maybe less so South America, more so North America, but even so, it sort of speaks to some of my professional and intellectual interests. So a really interesting one. Once again, shout out to Chafic. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.